Today's Monday, August 27th, and I'm making a blog. I usually do these on Facebook Live, but today I'm going to record it because I don't want the distraction of having people tune in and leave me comments or questions. I just want to kind of be honest and share some stuff. I want to share what's going on with my life, with City Fam, but also just some general things that I'm going through that are happening, and just documenting the journey as I'm always trying to do. So I don't know. Just lately, I've really been struggling a lot. Not to say that it's been easy at any point, honestly, over the last um, 6 years, but really 12 of the last 18 years. The only time I will say that since I met God that my life was easier was when I was living in sin, and it was easier in some respects, but it was also harder in other respects. I you know I was drinking and giving myself things that my flesh wanted, but my life was hard in other ways because I was creating problems for myself that I had to deal with. And I was also empty inside, not going anywhere, not knowing that I wasn't living up to my potential and living out my purpose. And I was just kind of running from my responsibilities, I guess you would say. And that came at a price, internally, the way that I felt about myself, the way that I felt other people felt about me. Um, but I guess it was easier in some respects. You know, people, I get a decent amount of compliments online. People commend me for, what we're doing, City Fam, the book, a lot of good stuff that I'm involved in, but everything comes at a price. It's all hard. It's all very difficult. It's emotionally draining at times because, today, honestly, I was in the office and I just wanted to leave. I just wanted to leave because I was depressed and I couldn't shake it, and I didn't know, but honestly, I didn't have anywhere to go. There's nowhere to go for me. I could go home and, you know, take a nap and that'd be about it. But honestly, that would probably make me more depressed. So I just had to kind of bear through it and work through it, and then kind of the feeling went away somewhat. But I don't know. I was talking to somebody the other day about the path that I'm on, and even specifically, I think I was talking about abstinence. And I don't know if anyone out there has ever done a caffeine fast, like where you stop drinking coffee or any caffeine. I've done this a few times, or several times actually, through the Daniel fast. And you get this really dull headache for the first few days, and nothing can get rid of it. It's like you could take ibuprofen or Tylenol or anything, and nothing gets rid of it because it just is there. And it's like, I almost look at abstinence in that way a little bit, where I do a better job than 99.9% of people of filling my life with things and people to make the wait easier, but it's like this dull pain that's always there that doesn't ever go away, because the Bible says it's not good for man to be alone. And on some level, I just feel like that's something that all of us, anybody that's going through a process of waiting, they have to deal with that. It's not like you're ever gonna fill that void completely, even with groups, or even with Jesus. People say, well, Jesus will fill. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that though. I mean, like, yes, you need to learn to be happy on your own, but at the same time, it's such a natural, deep desire within each one of us that it never goes away. The key is to learn to live with it, and to not be thirsty, and to not settle, because that's just going to present more problems down the road. So I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, but I think a lot of what I'm going through has to do with that, because I've been single so long. And it's also the financial struggles, that I've been through, you know, for the past several years. And then on top of it, it's like we're always trying to make bricks without straw. Like we're trying to accomplish all these great tasks, and there's never enough resources to do it. So it's always trying to figure out a way, never having an answer to that problem, or having a solution. And knowing that we're sitting on something with the potential it's so great, and at times it's so frustrating because you can't get it to where you want it to go because there's just not enough resources to make it happen. Not to say we're not doing great things and we're not growing, we are, but at the same time it's super difficult. Even that, just saying that is honestly, it's such an understatement. To say how hard it is, it's such an understatement. To say it's by far the hardest thing I've ever done, this whole process. And I know, the word says that suffering produces perseverance, and I believe that. And I know that there's a point to all this, that I'm getting stronger in this process. And if I'm here, then there's a reason. Like, God's got me here for a reason. I'm going through this, and there's a purpose in this pain. But it ain't easy. It sure isn't easy. So I was thinking about something I heard Tony Robbins. So I went to a conference last week. I had Gary Vaynerchuk and Tony Robbins there. It's awesome. Gary's a big hero of mine. And Tony talked about something about when you get into that negative state, it really has a lot to do with expectations, and your expectations aren't being met. And I really believe that he's right, because a lot of the way that I'm feeling is, the fact that I had expectations, I guess, on God, or, just, not, I guess God, yeah. I mean, the life in general, that if, I just would have thought it would have happened by now. I would have thought I would have gotten my breakthrough. And, it's these setbacks that happen. And to be able to emotionally keep going. I heard perseverance defined as stick-to-itiveness. So the ability to be able to stick to it in spite of difficulties and obstacles. And, like I was just thinking about home and all the energy that went into that, to all the vision meetings and the membership marathon, and then to get the door shut on me, and then to be able to still muster the energy to keep going and keep pushing and doing all the things that I know to do. While I believe that's still going to happen, but I still have to keep working in the areas where there is work to be done, and having the energy to do that 12 to 15 hours every day, and then still behave yourself, go home, be sober, stay out of sin, work your ass off, and, day after day, week after week, month after month, and it's tough. So I'm just venting a little bit, really. So anyway, went to a great conference last week. I saw Gary Vaynerchuk, and I saw Tony Robbins at something called National Achievers Congress in DC. It was awesome. That was really cool. Actually, after I heard Gary speak, I went down to the stage and I yelled. I was like, Gary! I yelled his name really loud, and he looked at me, and I was like, I want to give you a copy of my book. I had a copy of my book in my backpack, and he shook his head yes, and I thought he was like motioning me to give it to him to sign, and I said, no, I want to give you a copy of my book to keep. And he shook his head yes again, and I gave it to his guy, and he took it from me, and that was that. So I actually tweeted him. I sent him a message. I didn't tweet him, but I sent him a message on Twitter, and I said, hey, I gave you a copy of my book. I really enjoyed your speech, and I know you probably don't have time to read it, but if maybe you can take a picture with it, or whatever. And he messaged me back and said, okay, Rob, which was really cool because I'm sure he gets thousands of tweets a day. But who knows? I figured if I could put it in his hands, maybe he has a sister or his wife, or will know someone to read it, and could somehow find my way into his circle, because obviously that'd be a huge endorsement. But really enjoyed the speech. Really enjoyed going to the conference and just learning and taking notes and kind of, like I said, sharpening the axe is the way I look at it. I'm always just trying to make myself a little bit better. Maybe something will hit me in such a way that it'll lead to that breakthrough that I've been wanting or waiting for. So that was really cool. And then last weekend, I went to DC with a group of guys and celebrated the bachelor party of one of my best buddies named Billy Lofton. So Billy was a guy that I started CityFam with. It was really just him and I, 6 years ago, and we were, he was a normal guy. He was a lot like me. He was making the same decisions as I was. He's a believer, and but he was also normal, which is kind of a rarity. And but we would, we were kind of, hanging out, and we would look at each other every weekend and go, well, what do you want to do tonight? And both of us would be like, I don't know, this sucks, right? So eventually, that's how CityFam started, because we just were like, this is BS. And I started, because I was a promoter, I started putting together social events, and he was really my wingman for the first several years. And we would go over his house with this little group of friends that we had. We would hang out all the time, and we would, cook out, and we would watch movies, and we would just do life together. And it was cool. I could not have made it without Billy. And we would work out a lot together, and we would be like, we would bitch to each other and be like, is it even worth it? Is this even worth it? Because like, we're doing the right thing and we're not getting anything in return. And we would be questioning, is it even worth it? And it was really cool. I guess it was about 2.5 years ago, we had a game night at his house one night, and we had some girlfriends that were in the group come over, and there was this girl, Ariana. She was first time we'd ever met her. Met her through one of the girls, Jill Pasco. Her name was at the time. Now she's married. She came over and she brought her friend, and Billy spotted her right away. He kind of was like, caught his attention, and liked her initially. Kind of watched her a little bit from afar, and really saw the person that she was and liked her, and eventually he told her, he's like, look, I like you, whatever. And she did not reciprocate the feelings for about 2 years. He liked this girl, and me and Billy would work out, and he'd be complaining about the fact that he wanted to take her out, and she didn't want to go out with him, whatever. And I would always be like, why don't you just grow a set and ask her out? And but no, he didn't really push it. He just kind of respected the boundaries and didn't make it weird, which is something I talk about in the book. Is like, it is possible for men and women to be friends as long as one person doesn't make it weird, even if the one person likes the other, as long as they don't make it weird. But it was really cool to see after about 2 years of knowing her, last year when we were in Nicaragua on a scouting out a relief trip. We met with a local nonprofit, a local couple down there that lives and does a lot of really cool work down there with the poorest of the poor. We were there. It was me, Billy, Ariana, Lori, a couple other people, and I just she just started to see him for the very first time, and kind of a romance developed, and now they're going to be married in about a week and a half. So it was really cool to watch it all play out, and they're waiting, by the way, for anyone that's watching. They're waiting to have sex, so their wedding night will be the first night that they they do the deed, for lack of a better term. But it was really cool. It was really cool to watch it play out, because I've never done it the right way. I've always done it the wrong way, and people have actually asked me. They're like, "Well, how do you know that waiting works? Because you've never been married." I'm like, "Well, I know that not waiting doesn't work." You know what I mean? Because I've definitely done that. But just to watch that play out and to see how it developed, and it wasn't easy. It's the hard road. Anybody that talks shit out there, like I get people talk shit to me on YouTube and tell me, "Oh, you're an idiot, you're wrong." And I'm like, what you're doing is easy. You haven't waited. It's the hardest thing ever. It's so difficult, and you want to talk shit and pretend like it's the wrong way because your pansy ass won't do it. So it was really cool just to watch it play out. And I would, if I was a betting man, which I as I would bet any amount of money that they'll never divorce, that they will be, they'll be together until death do they part. So, yeah. Anyway, this weekend went to DC, celebrated his bachelor party. It was awesome. Just hanging out with some really good guys, and we had a good time down there. And then I came back on Saturday night, and on Sunday went to church, and then we had something here at the City Fam offices called Path to Purpose, and had about 25 plus, maybe 26 people at the City Fam offices, and we onboarded. Path to Purpose is basically an opportunity for people to join the Dream Team. So a lot of times people start coming to our events and they're like, "Hey, this is awesome." They feel the the momentum, the love, and the positive energy, and they're like, "I want to be part of this," And Path to Purpose kind of lets them really see what the DNA of City Fam is, and lets them learn what their passions and their skills are, and then we find the best place to put them in the organization. So we had a really successful event yesterday with a bunch of people, and we're going to be onboarding a lot of new leaders, which is great because we need the help. But also, what I tell people is, as much as we need, I like to say we want you, but we don't necessarily need you, because for us it's a posture thing. Like for us, it's about helping you find purpose. Probably when we first started City Fam, we put people in roles that weren't necessarily natural for them or what they were gifted at, and then you see people burn out. So now our goal is to help them, connect them with their purpose so that they can stay in that position, forever. Because when you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work. So anyway, we had a really successful event yesterday, and it was awesome. So we'll be onboarding a lot of new people. What's coming up? Right now we have next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend we have Renegade. We're going to be at back at the Sandlot. Last time it got rained out there. Really cool spot on the water. We'll be there on Friday, September 7th, I think it is. From 8 to 11, and then we're going to be doing something with the Baltimore Tree Trust on September 15th. So that's what's coming up. And then just what's on my plate is preparing for all these small groups. I think right now we have 8 or 9 Why Waiting Works small groups getting ready to start in September. And I am writing the curriculum for the questions and writing the video content to be recorded. So basically each group will meet on a Friday or Saturday night. They're going to watch a short video, 5 to 10 minutes, and then they'll ask questions. So they should be in and out in about an hour, but it really is going to get people, guys and girls, in the group, small group settings where they can build healthy platonic friendships, and start talking about stuff that really matters. So that really is how Billy and I started City Fam. We were meeting at his house. We were a small group. And we were just, like I said, a group of people doing life together, and that's how it's spun off. So really excited to share that with people. But anyway, hope I didn't bring anybody down with me being honest out there. Just where I'm at right now, and I'm hoping that it breaks soon. I'm still waiting for an update with home. Don't really have anything. Trying to figure out where to do our homecoming gala because we don't have a venue, and we have limited funds, so this is the game that we're in right now. This is a game that I've been playing for several years, and it just wears you out because you're just always trying to find ways to make it happen without the resources to do it, and then you're sitting on top of something, like I said, that has the power to affect so much change in the world, and you can't get like the powers that be to help you. Somebody shared a post on my social media the other day, and they were talking about basically social engagement and interaction, how it's the cure for a lot of society's ills, specifically addiction. And I'm like, I've known this shit for years, and I've talked to the people, the powers that be, like the opioid task force, and shared it, and they're like, wow, this is incredible, we love this, but then you can't get them to give you any help. They're out there wasting their money on Narcan, and listen, we need a safety net to keep people from overdosing, but Narcan is not the answer. Narcan's like putting a Band-Aid on a freaking a gushing wound. You know, it's not the answer. You got to get to the source, and the source is community. And the way to do it is we're all responsible. We all have to do it. So, what I told, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to do it anyway. You know, we're going to build it. We're going to build this thing, however long it takes. You know, if it takes us many more years or whatever, we're still going to build it. It's just gonna take longer without the resources that they could provide. So, you know, I kind of get to the point where I'm like pissed, and now I'm like almost wanting to do it without them, just to shove it down their throat, because I told them so. But of course, we would love to help, but that's just the thing that keeps me going. Is probably a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Anyway, I'm rambling. Don't think I have anything else to share. That's it. Talk to you guys later. See ya.